And we are live. Okay, so just some setup and then we are done. So welcome back, aliens, to the another live session. So this is our day 2 for Java sessions. And I hope you have seen the first one. We have talked about the basics of Java. We have talked about how do we do the setup. And the most important thing, we have done the first code. Whenever you learn a new language, the first thing you do is you print hello world. And we have done that. What next? So today we'll start with the quiz. As I promised, we'll be doing a quiz and the winners will get prizes. You might have seen the thumbnail, right? So we'll start with the quiz and it will be fun. Now, every day we'll be having a quiz. Now, this quiz will be based on the last session. So yesterday we have talked about some concepts and then the current quiz will be dependent on that. So before we start, the first thing you will do is you will hit that like button. Okay, that's the very important stuff. And if you have not subscribed the channel, please do that. And then we can get started. As I mentioned, the first thing we'll be doing is we will be starting with a quiz. Now, the quiz is happening on Menti, and you will find the link in description. So in the description, there are multiple links. One of it is for the quiz. Now, whatever we are doing, whatever code we are writing, whatever notes I'm writing on my slate here or an iPad, it will be available in the format of PDF. Now, where you will find all this content, you will find all this content on the dashboard. So there's a link for the dashboard. In fact, there's a link for the syllabus. In the same syllabus, you have to enroll for the course. And the best thing is this entire course of Core Java happening live is free. Okay, so one thing I can ask you for is please do share this with your friends so that they can join. There are a lot of people who want to learn Java. The only thing is they don't know that we are doing this live session. So please share this message with your friends and also join the Menti. Now, how will you join a Menti? It's very simple. I'm sharing my screen to join you can join the Menti now. Okay, so how will you join Menti? Again, let me repeat the steps. You can use the, okay, let me just take it here. Okay, so basically you can use the code, you can use a link which is there in the description. And there's one more way of doing that. I will be starting a Menti now. There's one more way you can use you can use this image here. I'm not sure because I am coming in between, so maybe you'll not be able to see the code. So you can scan this QR code and the winners will get the prizes. So this time the prizes is for the top 3. The first winner will get, okay, how do I divide this? So the total cash prize is 5,000 rupees. Let's divide it into 3 parts. The first winner will get, let's say, if I make it 2000, 2000, okay. So let's do this. The first winner will get 2,500. The second winner will get 1,000. And then what's the remaining amount? Okay, how will I do that? So, okay, the weird thing is we have not seen the distribution. Okay, let's do this. We'll divide this. Okay, so my backend team will divide the content and it will be available for you. So the total price is 5,000 and we will divide into 3 parts. Okay, great. Now, how will you do this? So once you see you're the winner, what you have to do is you have to use, do share my Instagram profile in the chat. Or maybe you can just pin it in the chat. Okay, so basically you have to join the quiz, and if you win this event, if you are in the top 3, what you have to do is you have to take a screenshot and you have to send it on my Instagram. Okay, that's how we do it. And don't tell me you don't have an Instagram account. At least create an Instagram account just to play this quiz. Okay. Okay, great. So you can start this Menti. You can please join. And if you want to win this game, hit that devil button. You can see the cat-like symbol there. If you like Mentis, if you want to play more Mentis, just hit that heart symbol. And I mean, anyway, you can just also click on the thumbs up. So click on the thumbs up of this event and also click the thumbs up of this video. So by the time you're joining, let's talk about the agenda for today. So we are going to talk about variables. We're going to talk about operators and data types. So these are the agenda for today. Maybe if not, let's do it tomorrow as well. Okay, so my gadget is suggesting we can go for 2,500, then 1,500. Yeah, that makes sense. It will be, yeah. So 2,500 for the first winner, 1,500 for the second winner. The third winner will be 1,000. Okay, Sanket says LinkedIn would also be good, sir. Yeah, we can do that. So either Insta or LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, you can search for Navin Reddy and we can do that. Sure, we'll do that. So it's LinkedIn or Insta. Okay, so I hope everyone joined this Menti. So this is for the quiz, and the winners will get the prizes as I mentioned. Let's revise the concept. Okay, so here we go. Let's start with some basic question, then we'll go for the actual quiz. And I guess again, I'm coming in between. Let me just move myself to somewhere here. Okay, so name your city. From which city you are? So, okay, most of you are from Hyderabad. Please enter right spelling so that it will not go anywhere else. It will be coming in the city list. So we got Hyderabad, Kolkata, Mumbai, Warangal. That's great. We got Nasik, Noida, Lucknow. Great. So the common theme is Bangalore and Hyderabad and Mumbai, right? Awesome. So I can see almost 500 people joined this Menti. That's great. Okay, in the comment section as well, people are mentioning their cities. Spain, okay, Pune, Bihar, Delhi. How do I pronounce this? Is Balai? Balai. Balia. Okay. Then we got Hyderabad, Vizag, Sangli, Nellore. Great. Okay, I have one more question for you before we start with the quiz. I just want to understand how many languages you have seen or you have learned before. So this is the second question. Again, this is not a quiz question. This is just a poll. I want to know how many languages you have learned before. And you can also mention, I'm new to this alien world if you have not done any programming before. So I can see majority of you already know Java. That is great. If you know C, C++, it will be helpful to learn Java. If you know Python, that's great. If you know JavaScript, awesome. PHP, okay, great. So we have few people already worked on PHP before. But majority I can see is Java crowd, and of course, right, this channel is known for Java and Python, so there's a lot of people, and majority of people knows Java here. That's great. Okay. So I'm just waiting for everyone to join Mentees. If you are new to this Mentimeter, please go to menti.com and mention this code which is mentioned here. Otherwise, you can also use a link in the description to join the Menti, and that's how you will join. Awesome. Okay, Lavanya says, sir, can you please include Servlet and JSP in this session? So the 15-day session we are talking about is we are focusing more on core Java. Maybe in future we can do that, but as of now, we are focusing only on core Java. And if you have an exact thing, what you want to do, sometimes it is simpler to work on, right? If when you have defined it is core Java, I can be more focused here. Come on, everyone. Join this Menti if you want to win this game. So we are starting with the first question. I hope you're excited. Make sure that you enter proper name. Once I go to the next slide, please your own name, use your own name. Don't allow Menti to give your name, which will be quite weird to pronounce. And here we go. The first question, everyone, coming on your screen. Please join. And I hope you have entered your name as well. And I can see almost more than 700 people have already joined this Menti. That is awesome. Cool. Everything is going good. Harsh, can you just confirm the audio quality as well? It's good. Top notch. Awesome. Okay, here we go. The first question, everyone, coming on your screen. And awesome. So the first question on your screen, who invented Java programming? Come on. And it's not just about right answer. You have to answer very, very fast. Okay, cool. So majority of you already voted. That's awesome. Okay, and let's say the answer. And majority of you are saying James Gosling. That is correct. You know, Guido is a founder of Python. James Gosling is the founder of Java. Dennis Ritchie is the founder of C, and Jardine Strostrup is the founder of which language? C++. Awesome. There was a question from Kareem. Is it Spring Boot good for 2 year to his experience? Of course, you know, Spring Framework is very important if you want to be a Java programmer. Okay, with this, let's go for the second question. Second question coming on your screen, everyone. And here we go. I hope you're all set for the second question. And here's the second question for you. What is the extension of Java code file? So basically Java source file. Is it .js? Is it .txt? Is it .c? Is it .java? It's straightforward, just to pump up the quiz. And this should be easy to answer. Come on, everyone. I don't want any wrong answer for this question at least. Come on. If you give this wrong, you have to watch the first session video again. Oh, that's great. Majority of you are saying Java. That is good. I don't know why people went for JS. JS is basically for JavaScript. Okay. And if you're still confused, go back to the first video and watch. Okay. Ronak says, again, I can see chat is just pumping up. Ronak says .alien. Yeah, there should be another extension for Java programming language, right? Maybe when we derive our own language from Java, we can have it .alien. Just a trivia, you might have heard about different languages. One of them is Kotlin. Now, in the world, Java is a base language, and there are thousands of languages which is derived from Java. So they modify Java so that it will be easier to use. They can customize Java, and that's the thing, right? Once you learn Java, it is easier for you to jump around different languages. And Kotlin is one of them. Okay, so we have done with 2 questions, and it's time for the leaderboard. Let's see who is in the top 10. Okay, I can see the leaderboard here. We got Ayush, we got Naga, we got Raju, we got S. Lohit, we got Nayan, Bharia. Okay, and Manjula, Meghna, Prateek, Simran. That's great. So let's see who will be doing good for the next 4 questions, and the winners will get, as I mentioned before, prizes. And okay, so this type of quizzes will be there every day, but the prizes will not be there. Prizes will not be there every time, right? Okay, so we have a prize today. So give your best. Okay, question 3 coming on your screen, everyone. Okay, I can see Raju says 88. Okay, you can still go up. Don't worry, Raju. Question number 3 coming on your screen. Here we go. What is a compiler? Okay, you have to be very quick because this is only 20 seconds question. A compiler converts all the instruction in one go to the machine level code. Okay, a compiler converts instruction one by one to the machine level code. Compiler works slow. None of the above. Okay, and Raju, 88 is actually a good number. Okay, majority of you are choosing the first option, and that is correct. So a compiler converts the entire code into machine language or machine code in one go. Okay, the interpreter is something which converts each line. Okay, so majority of you were knowing this. That is good. And now I hope you know why the second option is wrong. Okay, 4th question coming on your screen. Let's see. What is the question here? And the question is, which of the following is not, okay, that's what is very important, not a Java feature. So Java is both compiled and interpreted. Java is architecture neutral. Java uses use of pointers and object oriented. What do you think? I think it should be none of this. Let's see what you say. Okay, and the answer is that is correct. So in Java, we don't use pointers. Okay, so Java is both compiled and interpreted. Java is architecture neutral, and Java is also object oriented. But in Java, we don't use pointer. It is happening behind the scene, but in a syntactical way, in a programming way, we don't do that. Awesome. Okay, so we have done with the 4 questions. And let's see what you have got in the leaderboard. Okay, who's doing well this time? So we got new entries here. So we got Prashant, who is doing very well. Prashant is on top, I guess. Yeah. So we got Prashant, Shivaji, Vaibhav, Ronak, Abhishek, Pramol, Nikhil, Dheeraj, Monica, and Shwina doing very good. And Prashant, you just came from nowhere to the leaderboard. Awesome. Congratulations. But we still have 2 more questions. And I can see Santosh says 71, Vince says 71. How can you have both 71? There should be some difference. Okay, now two more questions. Just wind up this very, very fast. Okay, fifth question, everyone, coming on your screen. I hope you're excited. So if you are new to Mentimeter, if you have just joined this session, the first you have to do is you have to hit that like button. Okay, that's how you participate in the Menti. I'm just kidding. So make sure that you hit that like button and also go to menti.com and mention a code which is mentioned on your screen on the top, if you can see. Otherwise, you can also do something called, you can also use a link in the description, which you can also use. Okay, so fifth question coming on your screen, and here we go. The bytecode is a result of, is it compiling a Java file? Is it compiling a class file? Is it interpreting a Java file or interpreting a class file? Now this should be easy because we have talked about this in the last session. Come on, come on, come on, we can do it. Okay, 2 more seconds, 1 second, and time up. And let's see the answer. Okay, majority of you are saying compiling a Java file, and that is correct. Now, if you remember, we have seen one image yesterday, right? A PPT, where we have talked about first you create a Java source code, then you compile it. So when you compile, it will give you a bytecode. And then the bytecode runs on JVM, then you get the output. So those are the steps we have. And I think these questions will be also useful for your interviews. When you go for the interviews, these are the type of questions they start with. And everyone, the last question coming on your screen, which will decide the winners for today. And here we go. The last question, sixth question coming on your screen. And here we go. What Java command is used to compile a Java program from command line or command prompt or CMD or terminal, whatever you call it as? So what's the command we use here? Come on. Okay, 7 seconds more. So we do use Java, Java compile, Java C, Java CMD. What do you think? Okay, majority of you are saying it is Java C, and that is correct. Okay, so we use this command, which is Java C. Java C stands for Java compiler. Now, again, if you are confused with all these things, you have to make sure that you watch my first session. If you go to channel, there will be link for the first video will be available there, and all these videos will be available for you to watch anytime. Okay, so you can revise the concept and you can do it. So we have done with 6th question, and it's time for the final leaderboard. Now, once I show you the leaderboard, make sure that you take a screenshot. What I will also do is I will not actually show you the leaderboard now. Or maybe we can show the leaderboard. So make sure that you send me the screenshot of the leaderboard, and there are multiple criteria. You have to also make sure that you use your proper name. If you don't have a proper name on your in the quiz, you might not win. Okay, so those things are very important. So you can either side, or maybe you can also do it on LinkedIn, right? So Instagram or LinkedIn, you have a choice. And here we go. Let's see who is the winner. There might be some changes in the table here. And who is on top? We got Archita Das is on top. Second is Dheeraj. And the third one is Kavya. Good job, everyone. So maybe everyone, if you're watching from your home, you can give a virtual claps. I don't know how do we do that on the YouTube chat. Maybe there should be some emotion where you can do that, where you can give a virtual claps to all our winners. In fact, people who came top 10, congrats, because almost 900 people are playing Menti with you, and you are in top 10. Congratulations. And as I mentioned before, it's not just about prizes, right? It's also about experience and learning new stuff. So thank you so much for playing this Menti. Now it's time to actually focus on the concept which we are here. So top 3 winners, please send your screenshot on LinkedIn and on Instagram. At the end of this session, we'll send you the prizes. But that's great. Everyone is clapping. That is awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for motivating them. And let's get moving here. Okay, so I'm coming back to my next screen. Just a second. I'm just closing this Menti from my screen. Okay, now this is the things we have talked about in the last session, right? We have talked about Java is a very old language. Basically, we have talked about the compiler as well, why we need a compiler, why we need an interpreter, those stuff. And then we have discussed what are the softwares we need. So we need basically JDK for your compilation of your system. The version we can use is Java 17, but then the features we are going to use is Java 8 only, at least for at the start. Maybe in future, if you get enough time, this is 15 days series, right? And if we try to complete everything in 13 days, last 2 days, we can have it for Java 11 or Java 17 feature. Then we have talked about what is JVM. So basically JVM stands for Java Virtual Machine. This is where you run your code. So using Java C, you compile your code. On JVM, you run your code. And then we have talked about the editors. We are going to use VS Code at the start, but slowly we'll move towards an amazing IDE provided by JetBrains, which is called IntelliJ IDEA. We are using community version here. And yeah, so this is from the last session. And now let's talk about something else. So the target for today, or the agenda for today, we will be talking about variables. We'll be talking, okay, so there's one more thing. I just need to start the recording as well. So today we'll talk about variables. Today we'll talk about data types. And we'll talk about what else we have today. We have operators. Okay, so slowly and steadily we'll move towards all this concept. Now, first of all, why do we need, why do we need variables? Now think about this. The entire industry, the entire software industry is dependent on one thing. You know what that one thing is? Data, right? So whenever you write a software, whenever you write a code, why do we build softwares? Ultimately, we need to work with data. And you have heard this before, right? Data is a new oil. So it's very important for us to work with data, to store data. Now, question arises, where you will store data? Now, if you think about your computer, in your computer, you have different sections where you store data, right? You store your data in the hard drive, you store your data in a RAM. Basically, you don't store data in a RAM, you store data in the hard drive. But whenever you want to process the information, whenever you want to execute something, you do that on the CPU. But the layer in between, we have a RAM where you take the data, you process it, and you make it work, right? Now, the thing is, when you want to store this data in a code, how will you store it? Of course, you can process something by performing operation. But if you want to store something, that's where we'll need a variable. So basically, imagine in your computer, you have a box, and in this box, you store your data. Okay. Example, let's say I have a value which is 5. I want to store 5. One of the, the slowest, one of the, what do you say? Smallest value you want to store is 5, or smallest operation, maybe you want to add two numbers, maybe you want to store your data somewhere. So what you do is you store a value. Let's say 5 is a value. So you will store that value in a box, and you will call that box as a variable. Now, why it is called a variable, why not something else? That's a different point, right? But as of now, imagine this box will be called a variable, and every variable will have a value. Oh, sorry, every variable will have a name. So every variable will have a value, and every variable will have a name. And let's say the name for this variable is A. So the value is 5. The name of a variable is A. So basically, you got this box, the name is A, and the value is 5. Now, how will you do that? So how will you do that in your programming language? Okay, someone is complaining about the quality, the streaming quality. Is it? It's good. I can see it's good. Streaming is good, right? Okay, there might be something wrong with the internet connection on your side, or maybe it got blood in between. A few people are complaining about the quality. Okay, so make sure that you hit that high-end spec, because YouTube is saying it's all good. So we got 5-minute engineering here as well. Oh, thank you so much for watching, Sridhar. Okay, so now once you got a variable here, you store. So how do you do that in a programming term? So what you do is you first of all define a variable like A. A is your variable, and then you assign a value. This is how you do in programming. So this 5 is a value, this A is a variable, and you store this 5 in this A variable. Now, the only thing is Java is a statically programming language. What it means is whenever you write a code, whenever you create a variable, every variable need to have a specific size or a format. Now think about this box. This box can be anything, right? It can be any big size. Example, let's say This is the cup which I was supposed to drink before this session. This is water, okay? So let's say if there's a cup, it has a size to it, right? I can't pour the entire bottle into this cup. So basically everything will have a size to it. Same goes for variables. A different type of data will be stored in a different format and different size. Now think about MP4, think about JPG, think about all this system. Everything has a format. So if you want to store audio, you will use MP3 format. If you want to store a video, you will use MP4 format. If you want to store a picture, you will use JPG format. In the same way, if you want to store normal numbers, you have to use a particular format for it. And also, when you talk about the format, we have to talk about the size as well. Can I store a huge number in this much of memory? Of course not, right? You have to define, you have to mention, hey, this is my variable and I want this amount of size for it. How will you do that? Now, to achieve that, we need to use something called a data type. So using data type, you can mention what type of data you are trying to store. Is it a number? Is it a character? Is it a real number? Is it an integer number? Is it a string, maybe a text format? So you can define everything with the help of a data type. Okay. So I hope everyone is following me. Okay, so people are saying, Stephen says streaming is fine. Phoenix Gaming says streaming is so smooth. Okay, thank you so much. Everything is good. Mehrotra G YouTubing says shout out. That's done. Shout out is done. Okay, so basically we need to use data types here, right? Now, what are the options you have? So for data types, we have different option. For different numbers, different type, we have different data type. Example, if you want to store an integer number, we use something called a int. If you want to store a real number, so when I say real number, numbers which have point values, let's say 5.5, 7.5, 10.6. In that case, you will use a format called double. Okay. You will use something called double. Now, if you want to store a single character, in that case, you can use a thing called char. Otherwise, if you want to store a Boolean value, you know what Boolean value means? Boolean means true or false. Just two options. In that case, you can use Boolean. So basically, we have different options. We can use integer, we can use double, we can use Boolean, and we can use char. In fact, in itself, we have some specific types of it, but we'll discuss about those types later. Okay, Lohit says that the format of a variable is called a data type. That's, we can say that, yeah. The format, the size is defined by the data type. Okay, Namal says, why the quiz isn't started yet? Namal, it's over. The session starts with a quiz. So make sure that tomorrow you join at the same time. Okay, you join at 7 so that you can play the quiz. So basically, int, float, int, double, Boolean, char, these are the types where you can store data, basic types basically. And so let's talk about the int. Now, int will have a format. So int only supports numbers, integer numbers, and the size of int is 4 bytes. So int goes for 4 bytes. Double goes for 8 bytes. Okay, streaming is bad. No problem. Okay, Boolean is 1 byte and char is 2 bytes. Okay, these are the size we normally use for to store data. I guess streaming is good. Okay, so we got int, double, Boolean, char. These are the sizes we have. Now, why do we need specific sizes? Because it can define the range of it. Example, in integer, we have a different range. Character has a different range. Now, normally, if you have learned C, C++, we have a different values to it, a different size to it. In C, C++, I guess the value is 1 byte. I mean, the size is 1 byte. In Java, it supports Unicode. So to support Unicode, it has 2 bytes. So C, C++ supports ASCII. Now, just a trivia for everyone. If you know the full form of ASCII, type that in a chat window. Tell me what is the full form of ASCII. And make sure that you understand each and every concept, you remember each and every concept, because tomorrow we have a quiz based on the topics which we have learned today. Okay, so make sure that you do it properly. One second, check it. Can you check the stream quality? Is it bloody? Because it says stream is healthy from my side. Is it blurry or clear? Okay. Okay, so I guess okay, we got a question. We got an answer from Muhammad as well. Muhammad says American Standard Code for Information Interchange, and that is correct. Saurav, Nagesh, everyone is giving the right answer, and that is correct. That's a full form for ASCII values or ASCII. And then in Java we use Unicode, and that's why we have 2 bytes for it. Okay. But what if you want to store more types here? So what if you want to go in depth? So int also provides some certain types here, subtypes. Let's write it here. So basically the subtypes we have in int, if we have long. Now, why do we need long? See, when you talk about int supports 4 bytes, right? But then when you say 4 bytes, it will be having a limited size, right? What if you want to go beyond that? What if you want to have a very big number you want to store it? In that case, you will be using long, because long is of 8 bytes. Then we have another which is short, and we have byte. Any guess why we have many types here? Again, to specify different size. And see, when you know that your number will be always smaller, in that case, why to waste 4 bytes? I know what you're thinking. Do we really have to think about 4 bytes? See, the thing is, whenever you you can be a programmer or you can be an efficient programmer. Okay, we have a difference there. So when you are just a programmer, you basically write a code and you make it work. When you are an efficient programmer, you make a code, the code will work, and the code will work efficiently. Without bugs, it will be faster, it will be maintainable. So you have to make sure that you become an efficient programmer, not just a programmer. So basically, long have a different size to it. Long is 8 bytes, short is 2 bytes, and byte is 1 byte. And just want, again, a trivia for everyone. How many bits is 1 byte? Okay, so basically we have talked about integer. So integer has 4 bytes, long has 8 bytes, short is 2 bytes, and byte is 1 byte. So if you know that your number will be smaller, you go for byte. Bit bigger, I mean a bit bigger range, you can go for short. A normal range, because by default numbers in Java is treated as integer, so that's a different range. But if you think, hey, I have a very big number to work with, always use long. Now let's talk about double. Now double has one more type. Now double says, okay, we have 8 bytes, right? But what if you know that the size will be always smaller? In that case, you can use float. Now float has only 4 bytes. Okay, and whatever notes I'm creating here will be available for you. You can access this from a dashboard. So maybe you will, in the description, you might find a link. You can click on that link and you can just go to the course. You will get all the notes available there. Okay, so this is the size format we have. Now, apart from this, do we have any more? In fact, at this point, this is enough. But all these things are actually called primitive data types. Okay, now remember we have talked about one thing, right? We have talked about this. Okay, I think you can't see that text there. Okay, so all these are primitive data types. Now, why it is called a primitive data type? It's because Java, I mean, this thing is coming from the world of C, C++, and Java claims that Java is object-oriented, which means everything should be object. But in this case, these are not object, these are primitive types. And that's why Java is not 100% object-oriented. Java is 99.99% object-oriented till Java 7. After Java 8, we got some more introduction to the Java language, like we got Stream API, Lambdas, and we are giving some functional touch to it. And there is no compulsion for a language to be purely object-oriented. A language should be good, a language should support all the features, and it should help developers. Okay, so we have all this thing. Now in the chat, people are talking about string as well, and that is correct. Now string is also a data type, but it's not primitive. String is a class type, and we'll discuss about that later. So we'll have a separate session only on Spring. Okay, Mr. Wright says, I'm taking notes by myself, and that is very important. So apart from the notes which I'm using here, please create your own notes. Okay, now let's do that in the programming. Okay. So what I will do, I will just use the same Java course which we did yesterday, same Java code. And why do we need this space here? Okay. So this is a prompt which we have used yesterday. I hope you can see the font. Let me know if you can't see the font size here. The font is visible, right? Loud and it's clear. It should be clear. Let me increase the font size a bit. Okay, awesome. Now in this, what we will do is, okay, there's a question from Arjun. Is this same for all the languages? No, it changes according to the language. Some languages prefer to go with few data types. Some languages have more data types and those things. Okay, Zubair says wrapper classes. Yeah, we'll talk about those things as well. And Ajinkya says non-primitive data type string. Yes, no, string is one of the non-primitive data type. Okay. Now, if you are enjoying this session, please hit that like button. Also share this with your friends. It will be helpful. And okay, cool. Now with this, let's start with the code. So whatever we have talked about now, we have talked about this. This is what we have talked about, right? Okay. What is that? Okay, this is what we have talked about. We have talked about data type, and we'll do that here in this code now. Okay. Can we use Eclipse? Yes, you can use any IDE which you love. Initially, I'm starting with VS Code because it is much simpler to work with. And that's why we're starting with this. Okay, so few people are talking about this S, right? See, this S is actually given by VS Code. I have not typed it. Example, let's say if I delete this part and I'm just typing hi. The moment I do that, VS Code will give that S by default. And VS Code says this is string type. Okay, just ignore that. This is VS Code feature. I'm not doing anything else. This is not, I have not typed it. Ignore it. Okay, few of you are talking about change the timing. Let me know what is a preferred timing. Maybe we'll also do a one more poll tomorrow. Is it 7 p.m. is a good time, or do you want a different time? And of course, we'll go with the majority. Okay, so now what we'll do is I will remove this part and let's talk about variables. Okay. So will this class have clear oops concept? Yes, we'll clear all these oops concept. Don't worry. Okay. So let's start with the code here. So basically, I want to create one variable where I can store a number, right? So the way you do that is by defining a variable name first. Now this A is a variable name. And then if you want to assign a value, you can say 5. But then the moment you do that, it will give you error. So every time you do make a changes, make sure that you compile it. How do we compile? We say Java C. I mean, first of all, you have to save the file, then say Java C hello.java. And the moment you do that, it will give you some error. It says cannot find symbol A. The reason is A is you're using A here, but you have not declared it. So the first step you do is you have to declare a variable. The way you do that is by mentioning int as a data type. So the first thing you do is you mention the data type and then you mention a variable name, then you assign the value. Okay. Now we have created this variable. It is giving you the warning it by saying, hey, you have created this variable, you're not using it. Okay, I will use it. I will just print the value as it is. Now, how do we print a value? You say system.out.print, and in the double quotes, not double quotes, you can directly print A. Now, since A since A you have defined in the language, you don't have to put double quotes. Remember yesterday we have talked about this, right? Now, if you don't want your Java to convert it, you put that in double quotes. Hello world, that's a string. You want to print it as it is. But then A is a variable which you have already declared. So it should not give any issue. You can simply go with A here. Now let me run this code. And the way you do that is you go back here, you say clear and compile. Okay, there's no problem here. And now let's run this. So you say Java And then you mention the class name, which is hello, and you got the output. Okay, ignore this percentage symbol as of now. This is more to do with the type of OS I'm working with, like this percentage. Okay. In fact, there's one more way of running this code, but we'll see that running the way later. But if you see this, every time you compile this file, you also get a class file. This was what I was talking about. This is your bytecode. Okay, so you run your bytecode. And don't worry, we'll talk about this public static void main later. This public static void we'll discuss later. So basically, we got a variable and we are able to print it here. Now the question is, can I change the value? So let's say once I define the value a with 5, can I change the value? Let's try. I will say a is equal to 6. So now I'm changing a value. And you can see there's no error. And also I'm not declaring once again. So you can see declaration is only once and you can use the variable multiple times. So remember this time. You have to declare the variable only once and you can use it multiple times. And that's what we are doing here. And now if I run this code, tell me the output. Is it 6 or 5? Come on. And this time I will not be running the usual way. What I will do is, if you are using VS Code or any other good IDE where there's an option of running, you can click on this run button. Can you see that? Run. It will run and you will see the output, and we got the output here. We got 6. The only thing is it will print everything here, which we don't want. And that's why I was going with the normal way. Java C, hello.java, and you can say Java, hello, and you got the output, which is 6. Awesome. So everyone is saying 6, and that is good. That is correct. It's a new value, right? Okay, cool. Now, since we are able to change a value, that's why it is called a variable. The name itself says it can change, right? So variable means it can change, and that's why variable. Awesome. And one more thing, if you are enjoying this session, you know what to do, right? You have to hit that like button. That's my motivation, everyone. Okay. Now what next? Can I create multiple variables? So before that, I want to show you one more thing. What if you want to type system.out.print? In that case, what you can do is you can say sout and say give a tab. Okay, so just type sout and tab if you don't want to type the entire line. And shortcuts are actually very important. And in this, you can print A. But there's a small twist. At this point, till this point, we were working with only print, right? Now we got print ln. The difference is when you use print, it will simply print. But when we use print ln, it will print and it will go on new line. So let me just compile this code once again and run. And you can see we got 6 and then it is going for the new line. Let me print something here as well. I will say hi. And let me remove the println from here. I will just say print. So in the first statement, I'm saying print. In the second statement, I'm printing println. Let's run this code. And you can see we got hi, 6 and hi on the same line. So when we say print, it will print this statement and it will print the next statement next to it. What if you want it on a new line? In that case, you can just say println. And now if you compile this code once again, okay, I have a question. Before I even compile this, if I just say run, you can see we got the same output. If you make any changes in the code and if you want to see in the output, so you have to compile again. So remember this, compile the code and run it. And you can see we got 6 and high on a different line. Okay, so where can I find the PPTs? So we are not sharing PPTs, we are sharing this notes, which is available here in the PDF format. There's a link in the description which talks about syllabus. Just click on that, enroll in the dashboard, and then you can access all the resources. Cool. Okay, so basically we are able to use the variables, right? Now let's try to use some other type of variables as well. So we got int. Let's also use double. Now double is used to store the it is used to store the decimal formats, right? So let's say I want to store 7.8 and it is stored. And let me also print D here. Then we can also use char. Char is for the character. Now, whenever you want to store a character, you need to use single quote. Okay, remember this. Whenever you have a big string, double quotes. Whenever you have a single character, use single quote. So in this case, I can use a single quote. And let's say I want to store a character which is n. That's done. And okay, Darshan says the notes are not there. Okay, I will make it available by tomorrow. Let me check the dashboard once, and I will make sure that these notes are available in the dashboard by tomorrow. Okay, so we got a character. The next thing I want to use here is Boolean. We can also use Boolean. Now Boolean, remember this thing. I'm using this variable name as A, D, C, B. Don't use this, okay? I'm using it. Don't try to use this type of variable name. Variable name should always make sense what you're doing. Example, you want to store your name, you want to store your city name, you want to store the amount, you want to store the selling price, all those things. Always use a proper name for the variables. Now, since we are doing it for the first time, I'm just doing it as it is. Okay, so Boolean will say this is true. Now, in Boolean type, we have to use specifically two keywords. Either it can be true or it can be false. So I'm saying true. And let me print all these things here. So I will say sout tab. I want to print a character. And also I want to print the Boolean value. Okay, so let's see how exactly all these things gets printed here. So I'm just compiling it and run. And you can see we got the output. So the first one is 5, the second one is 7.8, the third one is n, which is character, and the fourth one is true. Okay, Venkatesh says meaning of primitive data type. It is to do with the base of a language, right? How your system is interpreting it. Because the other type is non-primitive, which is objects, which we create, which is represented in the object format. Ajinkya says appropriate name should be given to the variable. That is correct. So since we are learning, we're using these keywords, but later on we'll use a proper name to it. Cool. And you can see we got all the output here. Now this is good. All these things looks good. But what about the other data type we have talked about? Can I store a number in a short format? So let's say I'm using short here. Or maybe let's try with byte. So I can say byte is equal to not B, we'll say, and that's the thing, right? Always use a proper name. And can I use a variable name like byte? No, all these keywords are reserved keywords. Integer, byte, double, public, static, void. All these are reserved keywords. Don't use those things. You can use anything. We can use B1. Again, not a good variable name, but I can use it. I'm the trainer here. You don't use it. So I can store a number. I'm storing 127 here. That's byte. I can also use short, which is any number I can say. Then I can use long as well. And I can store any number here. Okay. So this is cool, right? So we are able to store all this number in this format. And let me print it here. Okay, I'm not printing those values, right? But then you can see that you can print in your machine. That will be the assignment. How do we print this? In fact, from the next session, I will also give you some assignments to work on, and you have to submit those assignments every day. Okay, if you are facing the issue with the quality, don't worry. I will be re-uploading these videos after editing, so you will have the access to it. Don't worry. Okay, Arjun says, any live session available for JavaScript? Yes, Hitesh Chaudhary, he is starting with the live sessions for JavaScript. Okay, okay, float is missing, right? Let's also add float here. So float f is equal to, I can say 6.5 and semicolon. Now there's a twist. Float is giving you error. See, by default, whenever you talk about the point values, the real values, Java treat is by default double. So the moment you say 7.8, Java will say, okay, that's a double value. That's awesome. And you're storing it in double. But the moment you say 6.5, which is also be treated as double, and then you are assigning this double to float, it is giving you issue. So you have to mention, hey, Java, the 6.5 here is not double. I want you to treat it as float value. So to do that, you just have to say f, 6.5f. That f is compulsory at the end for the float. Now the same thing is applicable for long. Now, as I mentioned, long is of 8 bytes, right? You can store huge number. So the moment you type a huge number here, it will give you an error. And that's weird. Long does support this number of this huge number, right? Or maybe I can reduce a value, one more value, it is still not getting supported. The reason is, by default, every number is treated as integer. And then you are trying to store that number in a long format, it will not be supported. In that case, you have to say L. So for float, you have to say dot, you have to say F at the end. For long, you have to say L at the end. That's the only criteria you have. That's right, Nisha. Nishi. We have to mention F suffix for the float, otherwise it will lose the precision. That is correct. Awesome. Now we have specified all these things here. I think we are missing here. Byte is done, short is done, long is done, boolean, double, float. Okay. So basically we were able to cover all the basic data types and it is working good. And we can also print this. So try this on your machine and let me know in the tomorrow's chat how you are able to print all this code. Awesome. Okay, now once we have talked about the variables, now let's talk about data types. Okay, we have talked about that as well. Now let's try to perform some operations on this. In fact, I just have one more question for everyone here. Okay, let's say I want to print C, and I'm doing that. Let me just clear the screen. I love quizzes. Let me remove everything and this one as well. I only have one character variable, nothing much, one simple character. Now, what if I just say, okay, what if I just run this and run this? And you can see we got N. Let me change this character to capital A. And let's try with this. Okay, it is working. So basically in a character, you can specify the character, right? How about if I specify a number? Will it work? So basically a character is a character, right? A simple character which can store any character, but now I'm assigning a number. What do you think? What will be the output? So let's go back here. You can use your chat window to answer. Compile and run. Let's see what the answer is. Oh, and the answer is A again. Why A? So what is happening here? So what is happening is in this character range, every character has given a number. So capital A is 65, then capital B is 66, capital C is 67, and that's how it goes. In fact, if you say 91, that is your last number of capital series, which is Z or Z. Oh, is it 90? My bad. Yeah. So 90 is capital Z. So it starts from 65 to 90. In fact, if you specify 97, I guess it is small a. That's right. It's been a long time I've worked with numbers. So. Cool. Yeah, so 67 is treated as ASCII and it will convert that into character. Awesome. Now what next? Now let's perform some operations on this. Example, let's say if I say int a is equal to maybe a different num1, use the proper numbers or names. So let's say the num1 is 5 and in num2 is equal to 8. Now, if you want to perform any operation, you can perform the operation. Let's say you want to add two numbers, you have to use plus. And since this is very simple, I will just go through very fast. You can add two numbers with the help of plus. And then if you have these two numbers which is added, you can put that in a particular variable. So I can say int result equal to num1 plus num2. And this result will have a value, which is output value. So I would say result. And now I can just go back here, compile, and run. And you can see we got the value, which is 13. So basically, if you want to add two numbers, you simply take those two values and add it. So the addition works. We can also use subtraction here and run. And you can see we got -3. What else we can do? Okay, we got a spam here. Let me just remove this. Okay, so we got subtraction as well. We can also perform multiplication. And you can see we got 40. We can also perform division. Let me just use a different number for division here to make some sense. So I'm saying 44 divided by 8. And for dividing, we have to use slash, which is the division. And you can see we got 5. Now the weird stuff is why we got 5. Why not 5.4 or 5 point? Oh, it doesn't matter what the number is. Okay, it should give you some point values as well, right? So why not point value? It's because we are dividing a integer by integer and you're storing it in an integer. So point value should be coming in a float format, right? Or maybe double value. Will it work now? So if I divide the number and if I keep it in double, will this work? Let's try, compile, run. Okay, we got 5.0. Why not? Okay, there's no point value. The reason? Integer divided by integer will always give you integer. So it will give you 5 and that 5 is getting stored in a double value. And that's why you got 5.0. So in that case, one way you can do that is you can do a typecasting here, or you can multiply, you can convert the first number into double. So what we can do is we can say num1 into 1.0. Basically, you are converting this integer into double. Double divided by integer will give you double. Okay, this is not a good way of doing it, but we are making it work. So 5.5. The best way is, instead of doing this multiplication here, what you can also do is you can use a typecasting. So typecasting is done using this. So you give a round bracket and you specify we are expecting a double result. Let's try first. Will it work? Yeah, you can see we got 5.5. So what we are doing here is we are saying divide this integer, but then we are expecting a double value. So when you say you are expecting a double value, it will do a division there properly. Okay, Prabhat says, I love you 5.5. Okay, that's a new Avenger theme. Why not 3000? Okay. So we got double here and that is great. It is working. So you can perform division as well. One of the other operation you can perform here is, what if you want a remainder? That's it. You don't want a quotient. You want a remainder. You can use a percentage symbol. So what this percentage symbol will give you is it will give you the remainder. So when you say 44 divided by 8, that's a 5 which you get. The remaining 4 is your remainder. And if you compile and run, and you can see we got 4. Okay, awesome. And okay, that's very important, everyone. In Java, we have to put semicolon at the end. You can't run away from that. Okay, so we got percentage as well. What other data type we have? Operator we have to use. So multiplication. Okay, that's done. Now, before we finish this session, I want to share one more operator here. So let's say we got this variable a and the value for this variable is 5, okay? And then I want to print this a, but also I want to change this value. So I want to say, I want to make sure that this a value goes for +1. It's an increment for a. I want to make it 6. So if you want to add the value, what you can do is you can say a is equal to a plus 1. So we are incrementing the value. See, if you're thinking we are going a bit fast, the reason is these are very basic concepts which you have learned in different languages maybe. The core concept of Java comes later. Once we start with OOPS, we'll deep dive in OOPS as well. And the same thing we are going to use multiple times, don't worry. So what I'm doing here is we are saying a is equal to 5, and then we are saying a is equal to a plus 1. And then we are printing a. What do you think? What will be the value here? And of course, the value should be 6. And if I compile, okay, if I compile and if I run, and you can see we got 6. That is great. But then this is actually a very common operation in most of the languages. In fact, when you do work on a software, sometimes you want to increment the value. You know the way you have a counter when you enter in a mall. So the type of counters we normally use in softwares as well. So this operation is very common. So since we know that this is a very common operation, we have something called a shorthand for this. So how do we write a shorthand? It's very simple. You remove this part. Since we know that a is added to 1 and assigned to a, we can remove this part. So you can say you want to add a by 1. So you want to add a by 1 assigned to a itself. This is one option you have. So this is one option you have. You can simply say this output. Or, now this is awesome, right? But then we have a better way of doing it, which is a++. We can directly say a++ and that works. Okay. HF Connect says, sorry, I'm new here. Is it a quiz or a lesson they do here? So basically the quiz is done. The session actually starts with quiz, and then we do the session. At the end we have, then we do the entire quiz. Then we do the session, quiz and then session. Okay, so basically we have this a++, and now if you do this, you got 6. So this is called the increment operator. Okay, let me just use it here. This is an increment operator. So basically we have an increment operator. Then can we do decrement operator as well? So yeah, we have minus, which is a decrement operator. So if I run this code, you can see we got 4. So plus is increment, minus is decrement. Okay, Sashank says, are you seeing the live chat as well? That's right. So on this screen, on the right hand side, I have a chat window open. Okay, now let's go back to plus, which is your increment operator. Now basically when you talk about increment, we have two options. Either you can have a post increment operator. So this is post increment. And when you say plus a, this is your pre-increment operator. So basically this is post increment and this is pre-increment. This one is pre-increment. Okay, ultimately they do the same thing. They increment a value for you. Okay, so either you can use this one or you can use this one. But the real question is, when both of them are doing the same thing, then why we have two different operators? Let me show you something. Let me remove this part, and then I got int b is equal to a++. Okay, let's this time, or let's say a++. So everyone in the house, tell me what will be the output if I print b? Okay, we got a super chat from Prabhat. Prabhat, thank you so much for the super chat. Prabhat says, Nagrik Seva. Thank you so much, Prabhat. Super chats are always welcome. Okay, so let's see the output, what you're saying, and let's run this code. Compile, run, and we got 5. That is weird. It should be 6, right? Now, when we are saying it is getting incremented, it should be 6. Now, that's a thing. See, when you say a plus plus, it is post increment. And what you're doing is you are assigning the value to b. So what it will do is, when you say int b is equal to a plus plus, it will first fetch the value. So the value of a at this point is 5. It will assign that value to b, and then it will increment the value of a. To prove that, let me print both the values. I would say first I'm printing b, then I'm printing a. And you can see a is actually getting incremented, but later. First it is assigned the value, then it will increment the value. But what if you want it to be incremented first? In that case, you will use pre-increment. Okay. And now, if you run this code, you got 6 and 6. Cool, right? If you love these sessions, hit that like button, okay, because that is what makes me happy. Awesome. Now, since we know this, I have a question for everyone. How about this? If I say a plus 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 a minus minus, tell me the output of b and a as well. Ding, 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 ding. That was my pencil, just dropped down. So by the time you do that, I will write this equation. So what I will do now is here, let me write what we have done. So which is int b is equal to, so basically the value of a is int a is equal to 5. You know what? I just broke my Apple Pencil during the live session. Awesome. So where's the equation? A plus 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 a, okay. It was plus plus a and then plus a minus minus. Okay, everyone is giving a different answer. Okay, let's see how it looks like. So this is the equation, and let's try to see what the output is. So I'm sharing my screen again. Let's compile this and let's run this. And now you can compare your answer with the answer which I have written, which we got in the answer. And then we'll discuss the output. Prabhat says free education for all. That's right. Okay. Lohit, you're right. It is 19. And also the A value is 6. So let's understand what is happening here. Or maybe let's try to understand what is happening here, because I've written this on the go. So this is a post increment, right? So post increment means it will give the value of a as it is. So the value of a at this point is 5, but then it will increment. So the value of new a becomes 6, but then for calculation it will give you 5. Then here we are saying plus plus a, but the value of a is 6. It will be 7, and then it will be a minus minus, but it will give you the value of a, which is 7, and then it is minus minus. So it will change the value of a to 6, right? So initially the value of a was 5, then it became 6, then it became 7, and then again 6. So ultimately the value of a will be 6, but then for the calculation, this is a value we got 5, 7, 7. So when you say 5 plus 7 plus 7, which is 19. Does that make sense? And that's why we got this value. Okay, so this was pre-increment, post-increment. And tomorrow we'll talk about relational operators as well. We have more operators to go. And if you enjoyed this session, hit that like button and see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the same timing, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. We'll start this session with a quiz. And then we'll start with the session. So tomorrow the agenda would be, we'll talk about different operators. We'll talk about if-else. We'll talk about loops. Okay, so you want me to repeat this once again? Let me just do that quickly. So this is the code, right? Let me just remove everything. So here I'm mapping the value for A, okay? Whatever the value of A is. Initially the value of A is 5. So on this line, the value of A is 5. But the moment you start with this line, it will check for the value of A. So the value of A here, it will come out to be 5, right? This is post increment. So in the post increment, it will first fetch the value and then it will increment. So it will fetch the value which is 5 and then it will also increment, right? Because we have plus plus. So it will make it 6. Then it will execute this part which is plus plus A. So in plus plus A, what we do is we first increment it. So incrementing will be, the value of A is 6. So it will make it 7. Okay, the new value of A is 7. And then it will go for this line. So here it is again post decrement. So in this case, it will be 7. It will fetch 7 and then it will decrement the value. So the new value for A is 6. But this is the values which it will add. So it will be 5 plus 7, which is 19. Okay, so there are some questions on how to join the quiz. It's very simple. You can join the quiz by using Mentimeter link, but today we don't have it. We have it tomorrow again. So the session 7 p.m. the game will start. Okay, and now it's time to give away the prizes. We got some Instagram. No one? Or you have not checked it? Okay. Okay. So make sure that you send your screenshot and also send me the UPI ID so that I can transfer. So winners of Mentimeter, let me show you the Mentimeter's winners as well, which should be here. Okay, where is Mentimeter? Mentimeter. Okay, unfortunately, I can't see any messages on LinkedIn. Let me check the Instagram. Dheeraj Mishra, you don't have to send this one. You have to send this screenshot which you saw on your screen. On your screen, you might have seen first, second, third. You have to send that one. This will not work. Mihir says fourth position. Okay, we are only giving it to first three. Okay. Come on, Archit, Dheeraj, send me the messages. Let me show you the winners once again. Where is the leaderboard? So we can see we got Archit, Dheeraj, and Kavya. Send me your screenshots. My LinkedIn is Navin Reddy Official. So go to Instagram and search for Navin Reddy Official. Come on, you can do it. Okay, Chandan says, what is the money, sir? Okay, the thing is, when you win the quiz, you will be rewarded with a cash prize. Tomorrow we'll have a different prize. In fact, we have on in the weekend we have some amazing prizes. Maybe a keyboard or a good mouse. So this money is for the Mentimeter winners. Maybe if you are following from start, you will see that we have played a game of Mentimeter. Lohit says tomorrow quiz. Let's see. Because to give away that money, I have to spend from my pocket. So you can help me with this. Do share this video with your friends. At least I will get more views. In that case, I'll be happy to give away the prizes every day. Karthik says I'm on 180th rank. You're doing good, Kriti. Yeah, but Dheeraj is not sending the main screenshot. Unfortunately, Dheeraj, that will not work because I can't verify if we have the same Dheeraj. Actually, I can verify. No, I can't. How can you get the result skin once again? Let's try this. If I present, try to go to Mentimeter and let me know if you can get the same screen again. Try going to Mentimeter with the same code. Let's see if it is visible. So by the time you do that, let me pick up some questions from this. Just try to access the same page again, the Mentimeter page, and see if you can get the thing. Okay. Okay, Anmol says, sir, Java full stack course coupon code. Okay, so you can use, okay. Since you're asking, let me just take you to that page by the time he's doing that. Okay, so this is basically the course which is coming up for Java. Okay, where's the course? You will find the course link in description, which is here. So basically we are coming with enterprise Java, everything for this course. And it's almost free. You can see the price is only 4,000 for the entire 6 months program. And the same course, they are selling, other companies are selling for 2 lakh rupees. So we thought, let's break the market. So because that's how much you should charge. That's how much you should charge, right? So this is starting from 9th July, and these are the topics. And if you want to get this course, you will get 10% discount by using Telusko 10 as the coupon code. Maybe the link should be there in the chat window or in the description somewhere. So we'll talk about the entire core Java. We'll focus on OOPS, Java projects. There are multiple projects here. We will be starting with Servlet, JSP. We are building a lot of projects, and this is a live course, okay, the way we are doing now, but it will be not on YouTube. It will be somewhere else. You will find the link in description. Check in the description. There should be course link, Java course link. So we have Spring as well, Docker, microservices. So check out this course, and yeah, it's almost free, right? It's only 4,000 plus. You will get 10% off if you use Telusko 10 as a coupon code. Yes, the course contained everything. Come on, this is 6 months course, live course. You can imagine how deep it will be. Now, this is not available on Udemy. This is not a recorded course. This will be a live course. Any updates from Dheeraj? Okay, Dheeraj, let's solve this later. And once the session gets over. How about Archit and who was the winner? Archit and Kavya. Archit and Kavya, no message from you on LinkedIn. Don't worry, Dheeraj will solve this after this live session. Okay, we got this screenshot from Kavya. Kavya have sent the message. Achita Kavya? Awesome. Achita is verified and Kavya is verified. Okay, so we got the message from Achita and Kavya as well. So your winning prize is on the way. So share your UPI ID, Achita and Kavya. Achita, share. Where I can't see the messages. Where are you saying? In general, okay. So I got your. How do I copy this number? There's no option of copying it. Where? Acha, more copy. So Kavya, your third and your price is 1,000 rupees. It's on the way. And Kavya, let me know in the YouTube chat itself if you have received it. Just a second. Can you verify the Kavya's profile? It's not matching with the name on Google Pay. Kavya, why your account, Google Pay account says Shiva? Is it your brother's account or a friend's account? No issue. That's what you're sharing. So, huh? Okay, couldn't reach the server. Okay. Kavya done. It is transferred. Next we have is for Archita. Where is Archita's? Okay, it's here. More copy. Okay, next I'm paying to Archita, which is 2,500. Kavya, let me know in the chat if you have received the amount. Okay, SBI. Okay, Archita Das. Google Pay is creating issues. Kavya says credited, sir. Congratulations, Kavya. And Archita, it's happening. So we have not received any message from other Dheeraj. So the current Dheeraj looks like a right person. So Dheeraj, you will receive the rewards. But there's some problem with the transfer. I don't know what is happening. Is it weekend full stack? Yes, it is the weekend batches which we're talking about. This will be happening on Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, payment is not going through. Let me just try once again. Okay, by the way, it's happening. Okay, so Hanumana says just enroll for the course. Congratulations. See you in the course, Hanuma. Okay, winners party. That's right. Winners need to give the parties as well. Okay, it's not going through, but don't worry. I will make sure it will go through. And Dheeraj, also share your UPI ID. We'll confirm this. And maybe after this, I will do this. It's taking some time. So that's it, everyone. See you in the next live session. Kavi already received the rewards. Achita and Dheeraj, you will receive your reward. See you tomorrow, which is at 8 p.m. Oh, sorry, 7 p.m. We'll do this once again. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and see you next time. Bye-bye.